Okay, this is what is so alarming to me that people don't understand. You are just giving them a legal option, a legal loophole that they can disguise themselves to blend in so they can commit predatory actions. And I'm not saying all trans people would do that. No, I'm talking about the loophole that it will be now there. Now, women already have a hard time with SA on campuses. That's been a problem for years. We already know that. Now you're going to make these women-only safe spaces unsafe for women. This is insanity.
Well, isn't that the key? Isn't that the key, what you just said? Aren't women entitled to their own safe space? And at what point in society do we realize that we are making 20 women feel uncomfortable to make one person feel safe or accepted? It's insane to me. It just is not logical.
Well, that's what
these women,
I love that, a comment.
They deserve a safe space. They also deserve privacy. You know, I don't understand how, as society, this is even a discussion. It's weird to me.
He is right. I think that this is so weak of us to even consider such ridiculousness. It is ridiculous that a country like this would even consider, because you're right. The minority, we got to protect the minorities. They're not even considered. They're so small. It's so small of a fraction of number that it shouldn't even be considered, because it is hurting our country. And it's not even, this is a democracy. I mean, we should vote widely on things that make sense.
I'm sorry,
you can't violate one minority to accommodate another minority. Since when can you violate one minority? No, I know, but I am saying violating.
Right, it is a violation. Absolutely. It is a violation.
You're violating their safe space. They have a right as human beings to be entitled to feel safe and secure.
We're not a democracy. I'm just going to repeat that.
Yeah, I see that we're a constitutional republic.
Well, yeah, but we know what we are. When you say democracy,
can I say something?
Women are not the minority. Women are the majority.
We're supposed to be voting as a democracy.
All right, go ahead, Stephanie. What was that?
I think invalidating trans people and saying that they can't have a safe space. They're women, they're men. And if we were to outlaw trans women being allowed in the women's restroom, then what about trans men that have had bottom surgery? They're going to be in the restroom with us. You don't see genitalias in public restrooms. And you also, a public restroom is not a safe space. And for anyone to think that all of a sudden that crime is going to go like shooting up like crazy is absolutely ridiculous. There's always going to be predators.
For real right now?
For you to say that a restroom,
I'm a cisgender woman.
This is an emotional issue for the MAGA to get rallying.
And
for you to say that a restroom is
no reflection, because she's using the word cis, right? So this is like a new word that I didn't
know. What the hell does that mean? Can y'all tell me what that means?
That means
where your sex assigned at birth aligns with your gender. And it's not all words are made up, first of all.
Can somebody tell me?
Hold up. First of all, you're not assigned any kind of...
Like several times. You are assigned sex at birth based off of your genitalia. Yes,
actually, you're assigned your sex.
Yes, your sex. Sex and gender are different things. It's
no, they're not.
Oh my God.
Okay, then why are they
here we go. You're one of those.
Yeah, she is one of those. No, it's not. It's the same thing.
What if
God damn. I'll tell you what.
You got pronouns?
Then bring it up.
What's your pronouns?
I'm a she, her. What are your pronouns?
For all the women that are in here,
what I learned in school, my pronouns are what I learned from the English language. The pronouns that you're supposed to use grammatically correct. That's my pronouns.
My sex
absolutely blows my mind.
Is grammatically correct. Do you guys treat people who get married and change their last name?
How many genders are there, please?
If you Google it, 107, but
God.
basically, typically are.
So we
the amoeba.
Wow.
The amoeba has 42 vaginas.
Look at this.
I'm a cis woman, and my genitalia does not.
Stephanie, I'm going to give you a science lesson. You have XX, and then you have XY. Then you have XX. Y or XYY. And the problem with those three, the XXY and XX or XYX, whatever, that's called intersex, which is a genetic anomaly. It's a
okay. Well, it's
a genetic mutation.
It's a mutation. Okay. It's a defect. It's very rare.
So have you been tested, Stephanie, to see if you have that mutation?
Okay. Do I know if I have that?
How many genders are there in the animal kingdom? You know, dogs.
You can actually have your DNA tested to see if you carry that mutation.
Dogs are male or female, correct? Are they male?
Can a dog be a woman or a man?
No.
Okay, because those are genders.
I'm gonna go get a
because,
Visa.
I'm sorry, because science dictates limitations, right? So science is, you guys literally love to contort and pretzel twist everything, right? Any rule, any science book, anything that has ever been. No, babe, no, you're living in that.
Okay, so the NIH.org, they're incorrect. You're gonna fight them. Are you gonna fight
I don't give a crap what they say. Science,
Dictionary? You don't give a
has
crap
been
what
male or
doctors say.
female in the animal kingdom. And sorry, honey, we're part of the animal kingdom.
Stephanie, can I
We're human
politely?
beings. We are Homo sapiens.
Can I politely?
Y'all, there's no way that she feels safe in this space. Somebody give her the ticket.
Stephanie, can I politely reply to you?
This is
Okay.
crazy.
Absolutely, but referring to insults is so disgusting. You're all adults.
Hold on, I got a question.
Hold on. What's going on? One at a time, please. I can't hear anything.
I'll be brief. All right, Stephanie, I don't agree with anything that you said. However, this is just another emotional
This is when you're defending, DJ.
MAGAs need to rally and yell because they have no policies and ideals. And
Come on, Chuck.
Let me finish. I've been respectful.
DJ, before Stephanie got here, this is what you were defending.
I don't agree with you, but I understand that MAGAs need something to yell and rally and get on. They don't have policies and ideals.
No, we have plenty, DJ. We have plenty of policies. You and I have literally talked about those policies.
Does an intelligent woman
What bothers us, right? The same people who said, follow the science for an entire year and a half, 2 years, and said, look, you should go get unalive if you aren't willing to follow the science and take this, this experiment, right, in your arm. They're the same people who are not following the fucking science now. And it pisses
battery for the fire alarm.
Hey, buddy, we've got policies called Agenda 47. We're going to follow it. That's our policy. That's our
Larry,
policy.
I'm not spoken to you angrily. You don't have to speak to me angrily.
I'm not angry. I just want you to hear so many people talking. I'm just trying to talk. And I'm just.
You could be talking in the comments.
But
I'm not angry.
You see how hateful everyone comes across? Like,
you don't know.
it's not an opinion. These are people's.
I'm not being hateful. Agenda 47.
Okay, well, trans people have existed since the beginning of time. They're not going anywhere. And you can prove that for every woman. I'm a cis woman.
I'm sorry, can you prove that trans people have existed since the beginning of time? Where's your anthropology report?
Pipe it down, guys. Let's keep it calm for the whole
anthropology. Where is your anthropology?
Let's transform with this. Let's just laugh.
You can Google it. They've been around since the beginning of time.
Let's break it down. Let's break it down so we can solve this.
Right?
Yeah, we'll break it down, but in a comical way. Don't get mad. Curse each other.
Go ahead, host.
The only way we can solve this, the only way we can solve these issues like this is by talking about them. So it is important to talk about them, DJ. It's not MAGA talking points. We're human beings, and we are just trying to solve issues that plague society and try to progress society forward. It's not about MAGA. It's about all of us. And what Stephanie's saying, you have to understand that there are people out there that feel a certain type of way, that feel marginalized, that, and it is important to take care of their feelings, right? They are people. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So the issue is how do we accommodate everyone in society that's acceptable for us to move forward? So how do we do that? That's what we're working towards. What are the goals?
But that never happens for liberals.
Can I make a quick interjection?
Hold on, he called my name, so let me respond. So host called my name, let me respond. So Pepe, I agree with you, and I think you're an awesome host. I think you have an awesome life. But what about me? I'm a lifelong Republican, a lifelong conservative, and I've seen this man destroy my party. Am I supposed to remain silent? Don't I get a voice?
How has he destroyed the party, DJ?
Okay, I was talking to Pepe. Okay. Pepe, don't I get a voice?
Absolutely, you get a voice. But when we're talking about serious issues like this, you can't say that they're MAGA talking points. We're real conversations. You know what I mean? Turn off the truth, Lindsay. They have viewpoints. Stephanie has a viewpoint, and they are working through their viewpoints. This is serious conversation. So we can't just bring up MAGA, Trump when we're trying to solve serious issues in society. That's all I'm saying.
Can we hear what Kelly has to say? Kelly's trying to speak. Can we please hear Kelly? She's been trying to speak.
I think my point for me, is the fact that if you want to use your pronoun for yourself, whatever, go ahead, knock yourself out. But you cannot infringe upon my rights by expecting me to use your pronouns. Do you understand what I'm saying? I have rights too that if I don't agree with it, I don't have to say it.
Exactly.
I agree with you, Kelly.
How does it harm you though? It's just like when somebody gets married and they change their last name.
That's not the point. But you're not listening to the point. If I don't agree with it, I don't have to call you that.
You can't disagree with somebody's validness.
You cannot make somebody agree with you.
You can't disagree with somebody's what?
You cannot make somebody agree with you in a free society.
How is that a kind person? How is that
Okay,
pronoun?
let's do a little experiment right now. Okay, Stephanie, my pronouns are I am right. Can you please express those pronouns back to me and say that I am right? Can you do that, please? Because I need to be validated by you right now on this panel.
First of all, you would need to know correct pronouns, and
who's to say what pronoun? I would return it.
Oh,
here.
my
Who's to say what pronoun?
grammar school.
It's the definition. It's the definition of what it is.
It's grammatically correct. You use a noun, a pronoun.
Well, they is plural.
They.
You can identify
It is
the
not.
tree for all
Somebody
of
could say,
them.
where's Stephanie at? And somebody could say, they're at the store.
Stephanie, you can
How many
identify as a
pronouns?
tree
That is
for
a
all I
pronoun.
care.
I'm
Doesn't
sorry,
mean I'm
They
going to call
is
you a tree.
plural.
That's not
Stephanie,
proper
how
English.
many pronouns? Excuse me. How many pronouns exist, Stephanie?
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but pretty much it's she, her, they, them, he, his, him. Like,
What about
basic
neo
pronouns that
pronouns?
you use in everyday life.
Wait.
That's it.
I
What
don't
about
really-
neo pronouns?
I don't really know much about them. I mean, that is kind of
Like
going a
them,
little too far for me.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
that
them,
is going a little too
right?
far for
Like,
me. I will say that.
Stephanie, if you're
So
able
one
to use,
person can be more than one. So one person can be more than one.
that makes no sense. Stephanie, if you can use a plural for a singular, why can't I use something that's not a pronoun for a pronoun? Because they is plural,
And
she
singular.
is singular. So why can't I use eggplant hammer?
They
as
can
a
be used
pronoun?
as plural or singular. That's not made up. This is not a
Eggplant.
new thing. They,
Pronouns are made up to identify with.
all
for Pete's
words
sakes.
are made
Please
up.
call me
for Pete's
eggplant
sake.
hammer from now on.
you know
But do you
what's
see, like,
interesting?
do you see you just like making fun of them? It's like,
No,
just
ma'am.
leave people
No, ma'am.
alone.
So you want to call a
It
singular
makes no
person
sense. You
plural
want to
and
sit
I make
there.
it plural?
You want to sit there and talk about, oh, poor women, we don't have private spaces.
hold on.
Oh, but you're all ready to
No.
attack me.
Okay,
Look at
does this
my
make
profile.
sense?
And just
I want to be
trying
called
to say that
eggplant
these
hammer.
people are people. Be kind.
Can
You're
a
not
man
on a
have a
platform.
baby?
You're not undressing in a room.
Can
You're on
a
a
man
platform.
have a baby? Can a man have a baby? I want to ask her that. Can a man
No.
have a baby? What?
Trans man can have a
No.
baby. Yes.
Oh, look. See, that's what y'all are
If they
trying
were
to
born
reason
as a
with. Don't
female-
try to reason with this girl anymore.
That's
She has
not-
no reason. She's not
You
reasonable.
know what
You
bothers
are
me the
fighting
most
against
about this
science.
movement? Do you know what bothers me the most about this
It's
movement?
not a movement.
The word, it is a movement because the word
No, it's
mother
not.
has been
It's a fad.
torn apart as a chest
It's a
feeder, a
fact.
birthing
Now
parent.
it's birthing person.
Come on.
It's not even a
mother
movement.
wants to be
I wanna
called a
ask-
chest feeder or a birthing parent.
Real.
I'm gonna grow a money
Hey,
tree.
Stephanie, are you a Marxist? Do you have Marxist ideologies?
Gosh, I don't even really know what that is. So I don't know. Am I?
I think
You
you
hang
need
out
to
with
do a
Liz?
little. Yeah, I think you need to do a lot more research when it comes to Marxism, because what is happening in our country in the last several years is
Yeah, more
enforcing and
philosophy.
enhancing.
Philosophical
Everything you're
beliefs.
talking about is philosophy, actually. And if you look at the philosophy of Marxism, it's exactly what we're arguing on right now, right? It's basically what Marxist ideology really likes to do. It likes to basically lift up what they call the marginalized communities, right? And enhance them. So then at some point there could be a classless society. Basically that everybody will have equal, equity, right? The outcome is going to be equal for all.
No,
That's not the
socialism.
case. It literally will never happen. It will never happen. But what you need to do right now is, because you don't even understand, literally
Me
lifting up.
not knowing if I have Marxism beliefs does not mean that I need to go do research on just learning to be a kind person. You can disagree all you want, but they're human beings, and there's no reason to. I mean, look at how you're
Nobody said they're
talking
not
about
human
them.
beings, man. You're
I know.
misunderstanding.
Let her
Look,
finish,
I mean,
because
the
this is
mocking, the
let her finish,
hatefulness.
because
I
this
mean,
is the basis of the idea. Let her finish. This is what she's saying, and this is where the problems lie. Is certain people are looking at this from like a kindness perspective and a way to treat people perspective, which is what Stephanie's doing, and then other people are trying to explain the logical reasoning behind why it can exist in modern society the way it currently does. Right. So it's a
Right.
philosophical difference.
Right.
I mean, look at how, several years ago when gay people couldn't get married. I mean, there was a huge fight for it. And I know there's still some places you can't, but it's like, how does that harm anyone? And what, I mean, if you don't, understand where they're coming from, that's fine. It's the mocking, it's the bullying. I mean, there's children at my daughter's school, she's in 5th grade, and a child who was born a boy wanted to identify as a girl and wore what we would say girly clothes to school. And they were punched, thrown around at recess, made fun of. Do you know what the trauma that does to people?
Can I
This is a
speak?
child.
Can I speak?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't say
Let me
anything
speak.
yet.
Let me
I
speak.
just want to
That's the
say,
parent's fault.
I've been quiet.
That's
I've
the
been quiet.
parent's
Can I
fault.
speak? You're exactly right, but I want to speak. What that's called is child abuse. Somebody has dressed their child up and taught them to be a little girl or a little boy, and they don't even know what sex is yet. You're trying to teach children. You're trying to teach children sexism and all other things that the children should not even be subject to. They should be learning how to read. They should be learning math. They should be learning.
Little boy
You're
or that little
yelling
girl,
at me, and that is not child abuse in any
It
way.
is child abuse.
It is child
My
abuse.
son,
All right, hold
my
on.
son, everything he wants to wear.
When you're
I mean,
lying
they
to a
have-
child and making a child think that there's something they're not, that is child abuse.
So if a child wants to, like, truly, if they truly genuinely want to identify as a pirate, and they watch a pirate movie, and in the pirate movie all the pirates have hooks for hands, and they come to their parent and they say, hey parent, I want to be a pirate, can you chop my hand off and put a peg leg in, or put the the hook hand or peg leg,
It's make believe. It's make believe.
That would never happen.
We wouldn't actually change their physical being, right? We wouldn't enhance that fantasy in a child, because they don't even know when they should go to bed. They don't even brush their teeth. They barely even know how to wipe their butts. Okay.
Do you know that there's no surgery being done on children?
That's not true.
yes, there is. That's not true.
Yes, there is.
There's a
That's
rare
not
case of
a
it,
lie.
but no.
If that
no,
same child,
Go ahead, Steph. What was that, Steph? I'm sorry.
if
You
that
told me you
same
raised your
child,
hand.
Very,
if that
very
same
rare.
child
If there
came
was
home and
any-
said they converted to Christianity, we have a problem?
No, it's just like when.
Oh, you wouldn't have a problem. They converted to Christianity.
No, I don't. I think that's Steph's point. Steph's point is no, she wouldn't have a problem. Steph's point is that she's looking at it from a humanitarian perspective. That's the difference. It's a difference in
How is that?
philosophy.
Yeah,
Wait
but
a minute.
it's not a
Wait a
humanitarian
minute. Wait a
Parents
minute. A
bringing
5-year-old
children to
child.
church.
Wait a minute. That's
Yeah,
way off
that's
base.
How is
abuse.
that not pushing?
That's abuse.
Now-
That's way off base. Way off
I
base.
get it. I get it. You're Larry. I get it. But you got to put yourself in someone else's shoes and how they're
I
thinking
can't.
about
I
the
can't
issue.
think like that because I don't abuse
To be
children.
honest though, as a mother, and I will tell you this, and I've seen that a lot of parents get away from this because of society doing whatever the hell they're doing right now. Parents have gotten away from teaching their children to love themselves as they are.
Amen,
And
sister.
they need to be
Amen.
teaching children that, especially in grade school, because that's whenever they start learning about who they are. Now, in junior high is whenever they find out what social groups they start fitting into. Okay, if you want to talk about it from a psychological standpoint, but parents have got to start teaching their children to love themselves as they are, and that is the problem. And the other thing, and I want to actually, Stephanie, I want you to actually look up a study that was done on children on the autism spectrum. Okay, 60%, they have a 60% chance higher chance of being in the LGBTQ community because they feel like they don't fit in with society, and that's a group that they feel like they can fit in with.
With you saying that people can be influenced to be what their gender identity is, that is false. However, let's say that is the case. Let's say
That
that's
is
the case. Please don't
60%
interrupt.
higher
Okay.
chance. That is
Let's
a
say
really
that
try
that's
not
the
to
case.
scream over
Does
anybody.
it make you feel better to mock these people and make them feel even more unwanted? That's what I'm
because even the hormone treatments that are done, it's for males, it's called medical castration. That's what it actually does.
Right.
It is not a
Excuse me.
100% rate
Excuse
that
me,
they will be
Stephanie, I'm
infertile.
right in the middle of my sentence. So it actually does prevent them from growing. And you know what? If they do determine that when they're an adult, they want to get the bottom surgery done, do you know that they actually have more likelihood of having a negative outcome with that surgery because they're not fully developed and they have a shorter shaft, essentially? So the surgery doesn't go very well for them. And then it causes them long-term pain. See, we want to protect children, right? Just like we would our own children. Like we don't let our children pick whatever time they want to go to bed. We don't cut off their leg if they want to be a pirate. We don't enhance fantasies in our child's mind, right? What we do is we protect our children. We protect our children and we train our children, and we should encourage our children and love them for who they are. And then when they are an adult and they decide to make adult type of decisions, good on them. They should be able to do that.
Absolutely. Yes. But gender affirming care starts at even just bringing a child to therapy. If a child says, I don't really feel comfortable wearing dresses if they're a girl, I'd rather wear more masculine type clothes, that's not that big of a deal. If a little boy wanted to paint his nails, is that harming anyone? Is that making any...
You said it was. You said it was.
No, I
You said
didn't.
the child went to school and started getting beat on. You said it yourself.
And
Because
you said that
child
was
had
the
a dress
parents'
on.
fault.
Gender affirming care, there's a misconception that it's normal. Like it's actually a what's it called, Turner? It's called a psychological whatever.
Oh, gender dysphoria. It's called
gender
dysphoria, and only 60% of transgender people actually have a diagnosis of that.
It's an illness.
Regardless,
it's labeled as an illness.
Okay, again, that's not actually factual, but even if it was, does it still make it better to not validate them for a child who does have gender dysphoria, because it is 100%
You're
if a child,
that
validating
that is a
something that's not
diagnosis.
true.
so if a
I
child
mean,
has
And
an
you don't
eating
think that they should
disorder,
allow
wait,
it to go to therapy?
if a child has an eating disorder, right, do you enhance that eating disorder? Do you encourage that eating disorder, or do you seek help for that eating disorder to correct the disorder?
I would seek help. I would seek help and have them go to therapy. Them, a child wanting to wear more masculine clothes if they're a girl is not harming
let's
them.
make it more
An
cut and
eating
Did you
dry.
disorder
take
is
your
It sounds
harming
like
a
you're
child to
child.
Spider-Man.
therapy
It
when
sounds,
your
yeah, you're
child came to
Spider-Man. Go
you and
jump off
said
the
that they
roof.
wanted to be a
I
girl?
mean, come
Did you
on.
do that? You said that you
There was
believed in
2 people talking.
therapy. So when your child came to you and said, hey, I want to identify as a girl, I want to wear more girly things, did you then immediately make an appointment and take your child to not just one, but multiple therapy sessions? Or did you just say, okay?
So to be clear, both of my children are cisgender.
Okay, then both of them.
As
Did
of
you do
now,
it with both of them?
What's the chances?
we'll start with maybe, okay, why don't you try wearing a little bit more masculine clothes? Or hey, you want to paint your nails? Cool. You want a haircut? Cool. And then you can go to therapy. I
So
mean,
you
there
don't.
are a lot of kids that don't, realize that, it is a phase and they go through therapy. And that's the
Right, but
point
as a
of
parent,
gender affirmation.
wouldn't you agree,
Yeah.
since you have 2 children, as a parent, that is our job to protect our children. And I'm not saying that by letting them transition that you're not protecting them. I'm not going down that road because that's not even where this conversation started. But when your child comes to you and says that they feel a certain way, which is opposite of how their body is, the first step would be to take them to therapy to find out from a professional, is this something that's going on? Is this something that is just from exposure? Maybe they're being exposed to
Yeah.
someone like that. Maybe this child has had a sexual encounter that was obviously not wanted. And that's where this
Exactly.
idea
I agree
came
with you.
from. And so, I mean, my thing is, why are we not moving these children into therapy
I
and
want
say,
the
okay,
parents
yes, you can
arrested.
paint your
I
nails.
want
Yes,
to
you
go a
can wear
little
a dress.
deeper in
Yes,
this.
you can do this. Yes, you can do that. No, we don't do that. We take them to find out what the problem is so that we can address the problem if there is one. And if there's not one, you know what? When they turn 18, they can go do whatever they want. Locker room.
But why is it harmful if my daughter says, I don't want to wear a dress? I like this boy's outfit more. Who does that really harm? Honestly, would I jump to therapy if they said that they just
If
didn't
you're
like girl clothes? There's
If your child
there's
said that they
cis
wanted to
women out
carry
there.
an AR to school, would you be like, oh, sure, you want to be like the army guy? Yeah, you can take the AR to school. Like, would you do that?
So not even
Has
relatable.
anybody actually looked at the therapy protocols for gender dysphoria? Has anybody even looked into that? Because according to a lot of reports, the recent way that they're doing these protocols is it's a very expedited process. Okay, there's not ongoing therapy long term to see if this child changes their mind. They essentially are like one or 2 sessions. They do a few analysis, prerequisite questions, yada yada yada, and then they're pretty much encouraging these children to go ahead forward with medical protocols. Are you even familiar with that, Stephanie?
That is exactly what I
Okay.
was going to say.
That is not factual.
Yes,
But
it
let's
is.
move on. Oh,
And this is what liberals do. They twist, they distort everything that has ever made common sense. Because what I hear here, mostly the people here have common sense. And see, and even they, I think, it's my opinion, I actually think that they know that half of their crap is not right. And they know it. But it's only in emboldening their movement and their situation to control and to silence the majority, such as demonizing people for not recognizing pronouns and not being able to speak freely as they see things, and silencing the American public and giving us a place not to stand. And if you don't stand for something, if you don't believe for something, you're going to agree with everything. And the entitlement that I see that this young lady was talking about, she's entitled because they give it to her to be able to do all these things. And I've seen it in my children. I have a couple of daughters right now that have been blowed way out yonder after they left college, and now I don't even hardly recognize them. I love them to death. We love each other, but we cannot even speak now. It's hard
Why
to
didn't
even
you teach
speak.
them how to be like weird guys like you then, though, Larry? Why didn't you just control them?
You don't
That's what it
know
sounds
me,
like you're
sir.
saying. Like
You don't know
liberals
me.
do
No, I
that shit.
didn't. No, I
Everything you just
didn't.
said. Hold on.
No,
Liberals do
but
all those things you're saying.
the
Hold on,
the control is from you. The control is from
See,
you.
exactly. I was just agreeing with you about liberals, and you just took it right there and flipped out because you are a liberal that does that kind of thing. You don't understand what words mean, so you call people stuff and then get mad
What,
about it.
what are you talking about?
What
I
am I
just said
talking
this
about?
is one of the tools that they
Of
use.
what? Of me? So why? Why is it me? Because I just agreed with you about liberals. So who am I?
What?
How did you agree with me about a liberal?
Dutch is
I'm
not a
just
liberal,
saying
is what he's
that.
saying. Dutch is not a
I
liberal.
was agreeing with you. Liberals in this, especially on this app, are doing these bullshit problems. They are coming up with things and saying that these things are happening, and then make it an issue where we all fight about this shit. Like, we're not. Those things aren't really happening, though. Like, if you really think that like your daughters can be controlled and tricked into believing that they are a boy, then you have a bigger problem than liberals. That you have a problem with your kids not being smart enough to be able to
I'm not
control
saying my
themselves.
kid. No, it's
And
not
then,
just
I'm
that.
not
There's
saying
other
that
things.
personally. I'm saying that you were talking about them being able to do this to kids. If they're able to do that to your kids, then your kids are the problem. It's the parenting
I think
also
you
is the
misheard
problem.
Barry.
Hold on a minute. Conversation a while ago that people do influence children, and it might not be at home. It can be in other places where they actually brainwash and teach kids things that are not true, as such as this pronoun stuff. So my children are not the problem.
Well,
I don't see them
so
as the problem
what's
because they were
so
not
there's another
taught
thing
this
you're
at
angry
home.
about.
They were
But hold
not
on, there's
taught
another
this
thing you're
at
angry
home.
about is pronouns. Pronouns are
Well,
just
you said something about
pronouns.
the kids, bro, and that's what
Yeah, I'm
pissed me
talking
off.
about, yes, it's a lot about kids here because we're
It
like
is,
using
but
it
it's
as a
not.
way to get around
Well,
it.
you worded that wrong. I can tell you that.
If do you think that kids are able to be tricked into believing that they're boys or whatever term
No, I
that
don't.
the
Not
truth
just the
keeps saying
trans
pirates and
thing.
all that
No,
shit? You
I
think
wasn't
that's
talking
happening?
about just the
Yes.
trans thing.
I
How they
actually,
can trick with their children.
Okay,
I
so
believe
then that's a
5 years
bigger
old,
issue.
they can't.
Hold on. I believe that there are parents. Okay, so for instance, I don't know if you know who Jordan Peterson is, but he is
He's a complete
amazing.
moron. Yes, I hate
No,
him.
he's
No,
an
he's not.
influencer.
Jordan B. Peterson's
He's
a moron.
absolutely.
Now I know this
I
guy.
bet you he's
Absolutely,
wait.
he's one of the biggest liberals
I
I've
bet
ever
you.
known.
I bet you.
Jordan B.
Much
Peterson
more.
is not a liberal.
He's a huge liberal.
Okay.
No, he-
I believe that there are parents that are being influenced by Marxist ideology that are now encouraging their children in the wrong direction instead of the right direction to be who they are, who they're born to be. And it's because they want to be, they want, like, they get some assurance for themselves, right? Some
What is
validity
Marxism?
from their community.
So this is the thing. We've seen things for years and years to back this up. A child that grows up in a home where both parents, or one, if they got one parent or two, are alcoholics, their chance of becoming an alcoholic is extremely high. If they
It's
grow up
about
in a
50-50.
home
Usually it goes that
where
way too.
there are drugs that are actively being used within that home, their chances of becoming an addict to any type of drug significantly increases. So to what Turnip is saying, if you're in a home where this type of thing is spoken about on a daily basis and it's being provided to you on a daily basis, that's the point she's trying to make, is that if it's there, just like the drugs, just like the alcohol, the chances of your children then picking that up is extremely greater than the average person.
It's usually a lot different than that, though. Most people that have kids with alcoholism, it's a 50-50 chance. It's not a huge jump up to being more sure. It's either going to be that, yes, they're going to go into alcoholism too, or they go completely the other way because they just can't stand their parents for that kind of thing.
But that's the bottom line with this whole subject. When we as parents have children, it is our due diligence to do right by them, right? If you have a kid, which I highly doubt at the age of 5 or, right around there, comes to you and says, I feel like a girl. Your due diligence as a parent is to, first of all, say, honey, you can do whatever you want when you're 18, but here's the thing that I need you to know. Scientifically, and you'd explain it the best you can at their age, you will never be a girl. Now, I know they don't know what they hear at school, so they come home with that, and then we educate them. But it's so important for parents to let these kids know, you will never, ever be that boy. I don't care how many surgeries you have. I don't care how many hormones you take, or you will never be that girl. But when you're old enough to wear whatever you want to wear, then do it.
My point
Thanks for letting me speak.
My point was, is that our kids are being influenced. Before this guy rudely said that my children were the problem. We have kids in the streets right now waving Palestinian flags that don't even know anything about Palestine or the rights that those people have over there. And my children have the views that I did not teach them. And I still love my children dearly, and I know they love me. But the point
never called
is,
your kids the problem.
I'm angry about liberalism. I am angry about it.
I would be too when you don't even know
that
that you're a liberal. Like, you have been spouting a lot of the
Who are
same
you
conservative.
calling them? How can
Listen,
you call?
see?
Yes, I'm mad about that. Why would you call me a liberal?
You keep jumping on it. You're a conservative man, or you're not. Liberalism is conservatism too. It's not something like, I don't know what you guys think. Do you think Democrats are like
what is
good
my
people?
how do you know
think
that I'm a
Democrats are
liberal?
good people?
What's your
Democrats
definition
are
of me
fucking
being a
capitalists,
liberal?
liberal
Let me hear how
assholes.
smart you are. I mean, that's coming from a guy that's called Jordan B. Peterson a liberal. You listen to this guy. You don't know what a damn liberal is.
You don't even know what it is.
know
You just want to call people stuff.
No, you don't know what a liberal is.
I do. What is it? What is
You
liberal?
tell me what a liberal is, since you know and I don't know, because you call me a liberal.
liberalism is just like, we thought liberalism was the saving of the world when we brought the Berlin Wall down. It's saving this whole American dream that we think is so great at the cost of everyone else around us, right? Liberalism is tricking people. It's like, it's Democrats pandering to minorities and acting like, hey, we care about you, while the real fact is they're doing the same shit as the Republican Party is, not fucking doing shit for them. It's helping keep capitalism going. That's liberalism.
I have an idea.
Same thing.
Is anybody interested in?
So I just wanted to add to something like what Cher said, about like kids. 9 times out of 10 with kids, because I'm a mom of 5, all grown, of course, and I'm a Nana now. And I have a 5-year-old granddaughter who is absolutely infatuated with Spider-Man. Mind you, she is a little girl. And she asked me to buy her a Spider-Man costume, and I did.
Well,
and
good.
this little
You
girl
should've.
loves to dress up as Spider-Man every single day when she's not in
There's
school.
nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
But does that make her a little boy?
Absolutely not.
No, it does not.
Absolutely not.
With
And
not
she's
even
not
close. My
Exactly.
entire childhood was spent playing in red dirt with Tonka trucks.
Right.
Ditto. Ditto.
So the point
Yeah.
that I'm going to make, 9 times out of 10, when these children come to us and say, well, I feel like I am this, or I feel like that I'm that, it's something that they see. It's not what they're truly feeling. It's something that they have seen with other children they interact with. Because one day they feel like they're Superman, and one day they feel like they're Spider-Man, and one day they feel like they want to be a princess, and one day they want to be a fairy. 9 times out of 10, that's not what they really feel. It's what they just want to play for that day.
Why can't that be called imagination like it was
It's
when I was a
exactly
kid?
what it is. It's their imagination, because
Yeah.
as children, that's exactly what it is. They use and play with their imagination. They truly don't know what their feelings are, or how to use their feelings, or how to express what their feelings. They are children, and they depend on us as their parents to help them and guide them through that little journey of their life. And as you're misleading these kids, and they end up in these situations where they are mentally misguided, and they end up with the mental issues that they have, that is where we as parents fail our children. And people need to start understanding that. Kids act on what they see in society.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
That is what's
100%,
going
yeah.
on with our children. The majority of parents out there that are very angered and upset by what's going on today, and they have, right, because I'm one of them, because our children are being focused on because of the fact that they're very impressionable, they're very vulnerable, and there are predators out there that are deliberately seeking out our children because they're impressionable and vulnerable, and they
The worst
want
part
to
is it's
seize
called
that
the
fact to
government.
get a hold of them.
Yeah,
I
on
call it
top of
evil.
predators,
I
we have the
call it
government after our kids.
Yes.
It's evil.
Yes.
It's evil. Evil's after our children.
It is. And it's every day, and it's a fight. And I don't care what anybody else down there thinks. Oh, we're just fear mongering. And no, it's out there. And until you are affected personally, until they're affected personally, they're not going to understand it. Just like we were talking about, the women's bathrooms, and because it happens to
Exactly.
children too. When our children go into these public bathrooms, they're exposed. When they go into the locker rooms,
That's
they're
right.
exposed. It's
That's
in
right.
every aspect. It's not just for
Yep.
the women, but our
Yep.
children are being exposed, and we have to be drastically careful.
And see,
Well, that's what we're talking about. We don't
Tracy's-
think our kids are safe at school.
They're
So no,
not.
we don't.
But
They're not
Tracy,
safe.
Can I ask you a quick question?
But that's
Sure.
Who are the biggest offenders statistically? Where does the most, problematic, like essays and shit like that? Where does that usually happen for kids?
I say at home.
Yeah,
Well-
97% of the time it's at home.
Usually it is. But you know what, too? It also, like I said, it also stems into, you've got this whole deal with, they want to let trans start coming into the bathrooms.
Yeah, that's a bunch of crap.
You've got predators that are deliberately disguised in sheep's clothing that are coming in and assaulting children and women in the bathrooms. And they're
That's
coming
one of
into the
only news
locker
stories have been
rooms.
of like boys beating up a trans girl or a trans man in the bathrooms. It hasn't been like them predators. They're usually going in to probably take a shit or something like that, and then they get beat up.
I'm going to tell you something. Hang on. Because hang on. I've been sitting in here listening to you down in the comments, but what you don't understand is the true statistics of how many children and how many women have been assaulted since this whole shit show started has not been reported, because there has been a lot of children that have been assaulted, and a lot of women who have been assaulted since this started.
Dutch, did you just ask her if she's transphobic? Did you just ask her that?
No,
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you asked her that. And I'm like, just because I'm a full believer, use the bathroom that
you belong. Men use men, women use women. If I walked into a women's bathroom and saw a man in there,
he's gonna get tased.
My grandchild, I would I'd probably kick him in the balls if you want to know the truth until I got the hell out.
We do need to start watching out for each other, especially as bio women.
Here is that
bio women. Oh, Tracy, don't do that. We don't have to do that.
I'm going to say it because our rights are being taken.
I agree.
I love. We have fought long and hard for our bio women rights, and they do need to be protected.
I totally agree.
I think the current feminist movement has emasculated men.
It has. Oh, 100%.
I believe you're right. I believe you're right.
You nailed it. Yes.
Thank
it
you.
started with the women's libbers back in the 70s, you guys. Women had to be men back in the 70s. They wanted to take their jobs. They weren't happy with the way life was, so they had to go screw everything up.
That's exactly what I meant. I'm sorry. You discussed it and explained it perfectly.
Well, and Larry, I think too that whenever you were referring to they, I think you're also referring to society as a whole, meaning the people we come in contact with on a daily basis, like the way that they make you feel. And they do. They make me as a woman feel like I'm supposed to be big, tough, and bad and take care of myself 100% on my own. And on the other hand, they make men feel like, oh, you can't do that. And then you get called harsh words and made fun of because you're being a man.
Men are built strong and made for that and have the mentality to protect. I think that is instilled in us.
My husband better protect my butt.
And that's what I was trying to get at before this guy called me liberal. And I would
how is it instilled in you if you keep talking about being like something that can be talked out of, man? It doesn't seem like it's that instilled in you if you feel like you can be talked out of.
I tell you what,
like I see those people, I'm not worried about those weak men like that shit. I'm not worried about them because they're not
guys, one of y'all at a time. You guys tend to overtalk each other, which takes over the whole.
Well, he's an ass. He's an ass.
Larry. Politically.
He's an ass. Somebody needs to kick him right in his ass.
Please do it.
What I wanted to get at was the feminist movement and all that stuff. In the 80s and 90s, we had our Gen X birdcage. I call it the birdcage revolution, where we didn't care if you were gay, lesbian, whatever. They didn't bother anybody. They were on their own. They didn't push it on you. They used to hang out with you occasionally.
Yeah, they just wanted to be by themselves and do their thing.
They did their own thing. They did their own thing. Nobody bothered them.
Mainly, they wanted to be left alone, huh, Steph?
Right. And so now, and then a lot of the gay guys. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna make my point. I'll let my play, and you can continue. A lot of the gay guys, specifically, have gone into whatever it was back then, whether it was beauty or makeup or whatever, and the females saw that I have a gay friend, so they were all peaceful and they were great. Now the problem is they're looking for those qualities into the T community, which is not there, and 90% of the T community is very violent towards women, real women. That's why we're having these issues, a majority of them.
And like back in the day too, Steph, they weren't after our kids. Yeah, exactly. And they weren't after the kids either.
Right.
Back then.
Now, as a result, the LGBTQ wants to separate. They want to do the LGB and then cut it right in half right there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
I haven't heard that. Wow. It doesn't surprise me, but I haven't heard that. Yeah. Wow.
I think that they're going to end up having fractures throughout their entire community because you have people that are completely one way and completely this way. And then you've got the I don't knowers is what I call them. And so I think that there's going to be fractures in that foundation. And I feel like they're just going to end up splitting apart.
Who? The gays?
Yeah, the whole community, like your trans community, lesbian.
There's a lot of them, Lindsay, that they already are.
That's changed. I don't think that shit's changed even from Gen X time. I think it's Democrats and liberals right now that are pushing. They put a spotlight on those communities and are trying to showcase them as this thing that's being shoved on everybody else. And instead of being like, hey, these fucking Democrat liberal assholes are trying to push this shit on us, we're going and fucking flipping out on the LGBTQIA community instead.
That was a good movie. Actually, that was funny. What? Birdcage.
I would say the majority of people that are gay just want to do their own thing like every other person. I have a gay cousin who is just, I'm going on a cruise with him. He's a great guy. He just, we don't talk about certain subjects because we don't agree, but he's not flamboyant. So you know what I mean? It's like, just do your thing, not around me, But any more than I'm going to go lay down with my husband in front of them. I don't know why why they want to be so in our face with it. I'm not in my face. I don't go all over my husband in front of other people. It's just weird.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's them. I don't think it's those people. I think there's people in the communities, like all of them, that try to do that shit. And it's just awful. It just makes them all fucking, like they're all being judged by the few people.
I know. And they know that too. That's why, I think the most of them just want to go back to being left alone.
No, remember back in the day when the FAG was just some word you don't use, right?
Yeah,
Now,
buddy.
now the lesbian community uses that freely because my daughter is gay and she uses that word. And I'm like, don't use that word.
Which word is it?
FAG.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that word either. Are you kidding? The snowflakes today couldn't handle the 70s.
Yeah, they
Oh
couldn't
my
handle
God. Try drinking out of a hose. I think they'd have to go like wash their mouth out with bleach, you know? Good idea, Trump. Let's go wash our
If
mouth
they
out
tried
with
to
bleach.
drink out of a hose like we used to, they'd be poisoned today.
Not in my
Let's
house.
jump off of here. Thank you, guys. Thank you, host. And Lindsay, we need more women like you in America, girl. And
You can
Well, among each other, they use it for sure, right? But I would never walk up to somebody, as, you know, being as white as I am and calling them the N word. Oh my gosh, I'd be laid out and I wouldn't blame them.
Absolutely not. I mean, I don't even use that terminology in my house alone.
I never use that word. That to me is like so disrespectful. That's the thing.
That's how
I'm
I
about
feel.
respect, right? The B word for a woman, like my husband made them, we've been married 35 years. I think it was in the first 5 years of our marriage, he called me the B word. And I seriously, I know this is extreme. Okay, I'm a Sagittarius, so give me a little break here. But I was ready for divorce papers. I'm like, you just disrespected me so bad. Guess what? He's never called me the B word again in 35 years. He's never. Because it's just disrespectful.
That's how it ought to be. That is disrespectful.
To this day.
Well, you know, and one thing that I feel like we've really, there's been, I don't want to say a lack of, because, you know, the host has done a phenomenal job with this live. I'm just going to say that. But the fact of the matter is, we are all humans. And we all deserve to have respect from each other. And I do try to show respect to everyone. So if I've said anything that, you know, someone took as disrespectful, I apologize for that because I try to be respectful.
No, not at all. You're very respectful.
You're not respectful.
I can have a total different opinion from everyone in this live. And I can tell you what that is. And you can respect that that's my opinion and it's different from yours, just like I can you. And we can still love each other and treat each other as human beings with respect.
Lindsay, that's a lost art. That's the problem right there, is that people... In my generation, it was okay to have opinions. That art has been lost. It's like, if you don't share the same, at least where I live in Washington State, it's so liberal. And if you don't share that, then people look down at you or something. It's weird. I don't care.
It's the art of civil debate is what it is.
And see, my thing is, I want these kinds of conversations in my life because it's educational for me. I can understand a lot of things that maybe I don't know anything about. Hey, I'm here, educate me, you know, but that doesn't mean that you're going to distort my views and what I see as my own morals, my own values. But I am open to hear those things. And I feel like we've completely lost that. Like, we can't even have an open conversation without there being an argument and screaming and yelling. And
Right.
so, I mean, again, kudos to the host. You've done a phenomenal job trying.
It is. But you know how liberals are. They get their little snowflake feelings hurt. Oh my gosh, you don't agree with me. I'm going to go cry in a corner.
I think he's just doing the Trump thing. Where it's like, I don't like Trump at all either. But the fact is, Biden doesn't have any moral high ground.
Who said we didn't like Trump?
I love Donald Trump.
He didn't like Trump. He's talking about the guy in the comments.
The guy in the comments, I think he's talking about Trump, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm sorry, Sherman. I misunderstood what you were saying. My bad. I apologize.
Yeah, Sherman, we're not all Trumpers. We're not all Democrats or Republicans. We're all Americans, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So don't.
I'm an American who supports Donald Trump.
All the debates and all the arguments. Don't
Me
forget
too.
Americans.
Can you imagine if just as Americans, how strong?
Say that again. I started to overtalk you. Sorry.
No, that's okay, hon. Can you imagine if we can all come together as just Americans, how strong?
I think we lost that back in the 70s.
We would be unstoppable as a nation if we would all come together.
There was a spark
Maybe it was the 80s.
There was a spark of it on 9/12.
We would be unstoppable as a country. There's
you're right, Steph. 9/11, we came together. You're right. And you know what? It's really sad that we lost that unity that we had after 9/11.
But did we didn't, that's the thing is we came together after 9/11 to certain communities, but there was a shitload of Middle Eastern people that were here that were treated, got death threats.
Okay, well, so sorry, my blood just went, "Argh." This is America. Sorry if you're here from another country and your other country bombed my country, but we're going to go after them. You don't like it, go back to your country.
It's not that they went up to the country. There's people here that were from Jordan and other countries around Afghanistan, and they were being got death threats, were.
Oh yeah, that was wrong.
Because they look similar, Dutch. Say it. Go
I
ahead,
know.
say it.
That's not fair at all. I agree with you.
No, this country's never been perfect. That's for damn sure.
But that goes way back to the real dark days when we had racism. Think about that. I mean, for whatever reason, America is a very judgmental country, whether they want to say they are or not.
We were built on slavery, and we still have racism.
We weren't built on slavery. I don't want to hear that nonsense.
Huh?
I don't want to hear that. We weren't built on slavery.
We weren't built on slavery, really?
No, there was slavery here.
It was a big part of our economy, that's for sure.
What were we built on?
It was a sad part of the economy. It was a horrible part of the economy.
It was a very bad part of our history, but it was not.
Yeah, very bad part of our history.
It literally gave us all the power that we have. That's what
why there wasn't slavery for
into the
thousands of years
strongest one in the
before that.
world.
Wait. Why did that give us power? Why did that give us power?
Fucking labor.
Okay, that's bullshit.
Don't have that argument.
Ban me TikTok. I don't care. That's bullshit.
Well, no, economically, what it did is it allowed our nation to compete economically with the rest of the world because we were a young nation. Unfortunately, it's hard to get a nation started. It was a necessary evil to become what we are today, and it was terrible. But we cannot deny the fact and acknowledge the fact that it happened, and it got us where we are today.
Even the natives had slavery.
Yes, I know exactly, Steph.
It was the fashion.
Hey, host, I got a little thing for you. Here's the thing about slavery. What I believe in: every civilization across the face of the planet had slaves.
That's true.
I mean, thousands of years ago. Okay, everybody enslaved their own people. So they want to cry slavery, man. I'm over it.
Do you know why ours is different in this country, though? Because
ours, it's a part of our history, it's part of who we are, but. Whatever, get over it.
Slavery was a problem all across the world, sure, but chattel slavery in this country was the first time that we made. It wasn't something that was just like looked away.
How many melanated slave owners?
We literally saw it.
There was a lot of melanated slave owners.
Hold on, you gotta let the first slave so we can hear.
That was a black dude.
No, it was Anthony Johnson was born. Anthony Johnson was born 87 years after the slaves were here. How is he the first slave owner?
Well, I don't know what books you're reading.
What'd you say?
Clearly, you don't. You're like that's an easy look up in Google right now. Anthony Johnson was not even born
African American, according to my DNA, or maybe
you are.
Park.
There's a lot of bad reasons that those things happen.
What did you say? Oh my gosh, you're so funny. What did you say?
I just said I'm 2.1% African American.
My mother-in-law used to say that. Rest in peace. She's passed, but she used to always say that in her DNA she was part African American. I don't think she was. I don't think so. I think she was pulling my leg.
No, I did.
Oh really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I was adopted. And think back before Obama, and I'm going to just call it out. We weren't having the racial separation like back in the 60s, right? It had come to a calm. And then Obama came in and just ripped open all over it.
Yes, ma'am.
That's kind of telling on ourselves right there when we blame the first black president as the reason.
Oh, give me a break. I don't give a rat's ass what color he is. Give me a break. He was the most divisive president we had. And if you can't see that, you need to pull your sticking head out of your butt.
Hold on, I can't stand Obama, so I'm going to say that first. But, like, how are you saying he divided us racially, though?
He instigated from day one.
Even the black folks are saying that he was divided.
Seriously.
There's a lot of black folks saying he was the most divisive president.
Give me the first example. I'm asking for an example.
So there was a riot. I have a super bad memory. I had COVID and I lost all my memory, right? So I have a super bad memory because of that. But I remember back when there was some kind of, oh gosh, I can't remember his name, some kind of a big war, not really a war, a fight going on. And he put the blame basically square on the white people. And that's when it began.
And the cop, you remember the cop, the beer summit?
No.
Remember he had the beer summit at the White House? He blamed the cop. Meanwhile, it wasn't even the cop's fault.
For what? He blamed the cop for what?
It was some kind of stupid traffic stop. And he made it like a bonding moment between the police and the black community. And meanwhile, he was like making it seem like it was the cop's fault, but it wasn't.
He always did that. He always blamed the cops. He always said it was a racial thing. It's like,
and it wasn't. It had nothing to do with that.
Everything was raised with Obama. Everything.
I remember him being a suck up to cops, and that's one of the things I hated about him.
Try a community without cops, and let's see how long you think take that attitude.
I'm not afraid of that. Like that's what I see. I see cops as the more danger. If we're so gung ho about 2A, then how about this? Why don't we turn in all our guns if we like cops so much?
That's a hardcore pass, okay? I'm not against 2A.
You don't trust cops either. So
I trust cops 100%, but they're still human. Give me a break.
To them. Why?
That's just idiotic. You're being idiotic. If somebody breaks into my house, how long does it take a stupid cop? Sorry, didn't mean that cop.
Yeah,
how long does it take a cop to get here? Okay?
Exactly.
Okay, my husband was a cop for 20 years, so I didn't mean to call him stupid, all right?
They're not helping.
Figure
the cops do 4% of crimes. They solve 4% of all the crimes.
They're human.
Really
they do their best. They work on our behalf.
But we don't need them though, so that's why I'm like, this is why like Obama liked them. So I don't understand why everybody's like, this is a job that they signed up to do.
He's a useful idiot because he makes good TV. You understand? You got to leave him alone. Don't get so upset and emotional with him.
I'm sorry.
He's useful idiot. That's all he is.
Yeah. Okay. Take a breath. Take a breath. I'll take a breath.
Yeah, just like AJ has Kiki as his sidekick, like he makes fun of him the whole show. That's exactly what we're doing.
Steph.
Don't get yourself worked up.
I know. I do too. I get so worked up these political debates. I love them. I do, but it gets my blood going.
Just like that guy Kennedy says, that senator, he says, if you argue with a dummy, what do you get? You get two dummies.
Yeah.
Usually when I have these arguments, it gets to the point where it's just yelling at each other and they just bring you down to their level and you just fight with insults. So,
hey, Dutch, don't take this wrong.
I never said I don't need cops.
I need cops. Dutch, don't take this wrong, but I wish somebody could scare the crap out of you so you can understand that we need cops.
I've had my home invaded. I've been stabbed. I've been shot even. And the cops still weren't arrested because they didn't help. They actually made things worse in every instance that I've had them. So
what state do you live in, Dutch?
At the time, Florida.
Okay.
California.
Well, California is kind of a free-for-all. I used to live in California too. I mean, that's more of a free-for-all.
Yeah, we moved up here from California.
But I don't think that I'm not worried about. I never count on someone else to protect me is the big thing with the police because they don't really protect us. That's not even their job. Their job is to protect.
Honestly, you're right. You know, that isn't their job. You're right. I didn't know that until actually TikTok came in and I got into a debate and really. And here, like I said, my husband was a cop for 20 years. I didn't know that. It isn't their job. But it's what they do, though. They do it.
It's not their job, really? What did you hear?
No, they're not.
If you look at their job description, he's right, but that's still, in my opinion, it's still wrong because it's what they do. They protect the citizens of their city or whatever. My husband was an Everett cop. He protected Everett, the city of Everett.
Like I've seen cops like sit and watch people fighting and like people being
that's so bullshit. Cops are the first ones to get involved
for something that they didn't do. Why would they?
Right.
Because they're eating their donuts. They can't just put them down.
They're not. I'm not saying they're eating donuts and shit like that, but they don't want to go get and stuff and shit. Why would they?
I was protected as a kid with cops, so I have a big heart for cops.
And
look at what society's done to them. Do you blame? I don't blame cops, not one bit. They can't do anything right in society's eyes. I'm glad my husband's been retired for 20 years.
I'm part of the law enforcement retired community that is all for having all sheriffs take over all police departments.
Well, I don't know about that. Host, thanks so much for letting me up. What's up, Steph? What's up, ladies?
Hey, Dark.
Hey, I don't want to go too far back. I think civilian oversight is important part of the police. What'd you say?
He's sneaky.
Yeah, I caught you. I found you, Steph. You can't run from me, buddy.
Sneaky bastard.
I found you, Steph. You can't run from me, buddy.
It's okay, Dark. You can go back and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Well, the Barack Obama slander, I was listening for a while and I was really stunned to hear that. As a black man, I think Barack
So
Obama
is it because of his color, though? Can I just tell you that, Dark? I don't care what color people are, but I didn't like him as a person.
But as a black man, to hear that Barack Obama was divisive when every single day we saw him have to actually think about how he's perceived in the world based off his decisions.
I don't think he thought like that.
People thought that he could have done more for us.
Hold on, you gotta let Dark talk, and then you can respond to him. That way we can.
Yeah, I think Dutch was onto a good point. You know, it does seem like, hey, when someone says Barack Obama is the most divisive president in history, totally negating the fact that during Charleston, North Carolina, there's good people on both sides. The rhetoric that was used from the last president during moments of tension in our country kind of made things worse. And to say Barack Obama was the most divisive, it's just not. It's unfounded.
What's the problem?
For different reasons. Okay, I agree that Trump is divided in. So Trump is down the middle. You either hate him or you love him, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, he's polarizing.